Welcome, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen. This broadcast is about a black driver who allegedly was ambushed by a man on horseback with a rope, claiming these are Texas roads. As if we don't already know that. As a matter of fact, this whole world is God's world, belonging to the original people he put on the planet. But nonetheless, a black man had a terrifying experience while driving around his childhood neighborhood when he was ambushed by a man on horseback carrying a rope. James Ragland, who grew up in the area, was driving through Elians Fields, Texas, with his 10-year-old son and 12-year-old great-nephew when they encountered three people, including a child on horseback. While the other two riders moved to the side to let Ragland and the children pass, one man, since identified as Grant Williams, stepped right in front of Ragland's car. Quote, he turned the horse sideways to more completely block the road, and he turned to face us down, I kid you not, like a gunman in the Wild West, Ragland, a journalist who has written for the Dallas Morning News and the Washington Post, wrote on his Facebook page. Quote, the guy guides his horse to the driver's side and stops. I glance over and he's just staring me down. Ragland rolled down the window and Williams just sat there, so he said, nice horse. After saying thank you, the man replied, these are Texas roads. A confused Ragland responded, I'm sorry, prompting Williams to repeat, these are Texas roads, in a louder voice. Ragland explained that he's from Texas, at which point Williams pointed out that he was driving a car with California license plates. Ragland then explained that the car was a rental. Without missing a beat, the guy declared loudly again, but these are Texas roads, Ragland wrote. So, I'm going to stop right here for a second. You know, every time I go through some of these videos, it just pisses me off when I hear the responses of black people, the traditional American blacks, the people who actually built this country, the heirs of the ancestors who built this country, that is. Let me correct myself. But what irritates the hell out of me is our response and lack of the right response. So going into the fact that explaining that the car was a rental, it was none of that man's damn business. Why would you even tell another man anything when you don't even have to? I don't understand black people, especially black men these days. It's almost like you have no damn backbone whatsoever. And you do some of the dumbest shit, like answering to someone else when you don't have to. So regardless of whether the plates were California plates or not, the mofo had no business saying anything. And so the hell what? They're Texas roads. California cars can drive on those Texas roads. What a dumbass. Some of these idiots that black people that we have to deal with is just mind-boggling because their IQ level is so damn low. You would think that they're playing handball with ant shit. You know, they're just so freaking low and petty. These people are some of the pettiest people. So you can see what this guy looks like mounted on his horse. And it reminds you of another situation that I originally had a video for, but I since deleted the video because when I looked on social media, I saw some other black YouTubers had already done the story on the man in Galveston, Texas, who was led by a rope by some so-called police officers down the street to a staging area. Instead of calling a paddy wagon or calling a car to come and get that man, they decided that it was okay, like during the slavery days, to march a black man down the street in handcuffs with a rope around him, leading him by a rope. You can't get any more demeaning than that, but that's exactly what they did. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. But this man right here, Mr. Ragland, he posted his story on Facebook, which I'm going to read some of this. He says that, okay, I'm going to go down, and it says, this is amazing. A captain. So let me tell you, this is a main point that I wanted to get to also before I go on, is when black people report these devils to the police. Well, first of all, we're reporting to some racial soldiers. They're not really police officers, so they're not really there to do their jobs, and they don't do their job. And that's exactly what happened in this case. After Mr. Ragland had reported this incident, he later comes to find out that they didn't do anything. And black people, this is what I wanted to say. In this war that we're currently in, they are not going to do anything when we report to the police. So it's funny when black people say, you know, I'll just call the police. Well, you can. And 9 times out of the 10, they're going to be arresting you. So what do we do? What do we do? Use that third eye. You know what to do. But I'm not going to get into that right now. But anyways, he says, this is amazing. A captain for the Harrison County Sheriff's Department, Captain Floyd Duncan, just hung up the phone in my face. I kid you not. He did this after I challenged his assertion that I was, hear this, harassing the department by using social media to report on their response to a complaint. You mean the lack of response to a complaint. So he goes to social media to report on them, and they retaliate by not doing their job, even though they're paid by the taxpayers to do their job. This is what black Americans, the traditional black Americans, the heirs of the builders of this country, this is what we have to endure. We don't have to, but this is what we settle to endure. But I digress. So he says, to a complaint I made on Sunday, August 4th, about a man who threatened me, my son, and his 12-year-old cousin. Captain, I am using social media to shine a light on a problem that just got worse. The conversation began with Captain Duncan telling me I needed to come in and make a, quote, formal report if I wanted to pursue the matter because they couldn't investigate based on a Facebook accounting of events. Fine. But he failed to mention the Sunday night call I made and the fact that no report was filed then by the deputy, who also failed to call me back. Furthermore, I offered to drive back yesterday, and Captain Duncan said that it wasn't necessary. We could handle it over the phone, he said. Oh, see, now the tables turn. But here's the kicker. The perp who threatened us isn't sorry for what he did. He's sorry he confronted someone who's standing up to him. Based on what the captain shared, the perp lies through his teeth. He claims he didn't chase our car. He claims he pulled his rope out to train his horse. He's a liar, and his name is Grant Williams. It is important for the public to know that because it is apparent that the Harrison County Sheriff's Department lacks the moral clarity and a fundamental understanding of the law to do its job. When I mentioned the photo of Williams holding up the noose, Captain Duncan said it was just a photo of a guy on a horse. When I pointed out which direction Williams was facing, undermining Williams' lie, as relayed by Captain Duncan, that he did not pursue my rental car with California license plates a second time as we headed back out, the captain was dismissive. Well, of course, because once you prove that they're wrong in what they say, then they dismiss everything else, right? When I asked the captain about the other commenters who said Williams had pulled this stunt before, he said those weren't facts, just comments. True, but he also indicated neither he or anyone else had tried to contact any of those commenters. It was, in short, an arrogant and disrespectful phone call that ended with an abrupt click. And before I filed this, I waited a few minutes to see if Captain Duncan might call back to apologize. Still waiting. But that is not the end. I've tried to be measured in my handling of this and even show Grant Williams an undue level of deference, hoping he would acknowledge what he did, apologize, and move on. He's chosen a different path. You see how they are, family? But this is how they are. Overall, family, he says in the end, I owe it to my son and the public in general to not let him get away with what he did. It was a calculated, deliberate act of terrorism on a public street in plain daylight. We will address this the right way, transparently and legally, but thoroughly. Stay tuned. Well, family, I'm glad this black man is standing up, because this is the way a black man in America is supposed to do. Now, even though we do things the right way, we are dealing with a system that is evil, corrupt, and flat out wrong. Even though we are the true righteous people of this earth, and they have done a whammy of a job brainwashing us into believing otherwise, it's time that we wake up. It's time that we open up our eyes and quit faking the funk. It's time. This is serious. Now about this situation in Galveston, Texas. The police chief, Vernon Hale, he cracks me up because this man had the nerve to say that his police officers were, quote, used poor judgment. You think? Actually, they should be fired from their job for not doing the right thing. Does it really take a policy in place to know what is humanly right and humanly wrong? Unless, of course, you're not human. It is flat out demeaning, degrading, and unacceptable to lead a man by a rope like a dog in the streets of America. You don't do any white man like this, even when they're terrorists. You don't do anyone else like this but a black man. We can only, in 2019, look at a picture like what you see before your eyes and see white men on a horse leading a black man by a rope. Only in 2019 and in America. But see, in time of war, if another country or some other entity, God forbid, attacked America, you would want black men support, front and center. And the dumb black man would be right there to protect your evil ass. That's why you got mad at Muhammad Ali, because he stood up as a righteous black man saying no to white supremacy. And this black men should say today, no to white supremacy, no more. And so this is a reminder of the first video that I started with about the black man being ambushed by none other than a white man on a horse with a rope that looks like a noose. You tell me what you think in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Give me your support. Peace out.